Welcome to the New Forest, and we are in Keyhaven right now. So we'll just get to it here, and then I'll take you through what else I've been up to, because this has been amazing. I didn't see this coming. I didn't do any planning. Just so at the Keyhaven Nature Reserve wetlands, there's a hide there. I've contacted them. You need a fob to get in. And I've just spoken to a local birder, and he said he doesn't bother. He's been coming here 10, 15 years. He just looks over. So fair enough. So yeah, the first thing, I mean, there are little egrets in there. I'm going to apologise in advance that my tripod's in the car, my wife's waiting over there. And so I've just kind of walked out on my own, and it's quite windy. So anything I'm showing you is going to be a bit shaky, apologies. So little egrets, there's several little egrets about. And would those be lapwing? I've got to keep an eye. Lots going on. Anyway, little egrets flew over. And there flew over, so photos, went back over, and that's when I started seeing birds, when I followed it back to the wetland. And there are several, there's even one in there, little egret down there. He's pretty chill. And next I see what I thought might be a gull, but greenshank. I couldn't believe it. So that's fantastic. I haven't seen a greenshank in a while. I think Cliff Paul's was the last UK one I saw. So there's a couple of greenshank. So again, apologies for shaky footage. And two of them, yeah. So following those around with the 4K crop to get as close as possible. Yeah, great to see. And that was enough for me to be happy with. And then redshank, plenty of redshank wandering all over the place. Probably about 6 or 7. Somebody said there was a spotted, so I've been keeping an eye out for spotted, but looking for that long beak of the spotted redshank. Not there today, but he's out there, but I've been told so. Pheasant wandering over in the back by the reeds. There's another species. Hello? Yep, bit of calling there. Then over in the distance, avocets, good flock of avocets. And I again apologised. It was windy. I've got nothing to rest on, left my tripod in the car. Some avocets over there. And while I was filming the avocets, you could see loads of teal. Probably maybe 20 or so. Over to the right, there was some tufted ducks. And then in the middle, there were some common shell duck floating across the water. And while I was filming those, male and female, doing that head bobbing thing, a widgeon came in. So just species count is going up like crazy. I mean, local birder just said, yeah, on a good day, you can go 60, 65 species here. A lot of squeaking going on, maybe boats rubbing up against their rubber tyres on the walls there. I've heard greenfinch quite vocal, but I can't get a view of them. And then while I was walking along, when I was talking to this other birder, didn't catch his name, how terrible of me. He said he saw a kingfisher fly over there. And he said sometimes there can be 3, and they like to sit on these, let me get a bit closer, there are these ladders. And he said sometimes they'll be really tame and sit on the top of the ladders. But over the years, the word got out, and then there'd be like 50, 60 people here coming to photograph the kingfishers sitting on these ladders very nicely. We just had a marsh harrier, male marsh harrier, come over the water there just briefly. So I asked if they were hen harriers. They were, and goshawk apparently. So marsh harrier, yeah, and then kestrel, common kestrel, was being chased by a crow over there very briefly. So what are these ladders? I suppose these ladders are for the individual boats. Or are they kind of decorative? I don't know. I'm sure they're for the boats. So let's start going back a little bit. So we've come to New Forest because a few times I've driven through it. And I'm like, we must come back here for a proper holiday. So we're down for 3 days at the moment with extra clothing just in case, because we don't have to be back for anything. So if we're not ready to leave, we can stay a bit longer. So can't wait. I got an apartment right by the coast, and we're just going to come and drive around, enjoy some food, picnics. And so we came from Southampton through Lymington and then to Brockenhurst, and we had to drive around Brockenhurst, picked up some sausage rolls, and stopped there's a cottage in Brockenhurst that's on my wife's side of the family. It's a place where her parents got their honeymoon cottage. They have got their honeymoon cottage. I don't know if I should be talking about private stuff like that, but anyway, we came to look for that. It's not owned by them. It was just where they stayed, and we wanted to see it. And somebody had some bird feeders out while my wife was looking at that. And there's a nuthatch landed on the wooden lamppost next to me. I was wondering what they, and then I looked over. It was quite close, going for the feeders. And then there was a couple of coal tits on the feeders, as well as all the usual hundreds of blue tits that love a bird feeder. And I'm so jealous down here because up in London you just can't put feeders out anymore because of wood pigeons and parakeets. But down here you're going to get the nuthatch, the coal tits, marsh tit, and I'm looking for it. Bullfinch. I'd love to see bullfinch. I did momentarily see a greenfinch from a distance, a bit of a record shot just for I thought it was a linnet, and I'm so unused to hearing the greenfinch that I thought it was a linnet. But then I thought something sounded strange. Something was strange about it, but I saw it was a greenfinch, and now I'm hearing them more and more down here. So they seem to be way more popular down here than linnets. Then there's a robin singing on some the gorse bushes. Obviously, I'm looking for Dartford warblers, but that means I've got to drive along with my window open and listen for the call. But there's always another driver behind you, and in the New Forest, it's very hard to find any pullover space. They've obviously set it up so you can't do it. But ponies, there are ponies everywhere. Yeah, these things are just lovely. The New Forest ponies. And when we were driving through Brockenhurst, there were just 3 of them, 2 of them, and I think what they call the Shetland ones, walking down the path ready to cross. So I pulled into this road, and one went up the road, and this other one came right up to my window. So I put it on wide angle, and yeah, just even the locals are filming it. It's so amazing. I'm so glad. It's been well overdue. I've done a visit down here, and my wife's loving it, which is the most important thing. So I think a few more visits in the future for sure. And yeah, we just had a couple of sausage rolls from a local vendor in the high street. Cup of tea, sat in the back of the cab. I looked around. There are jackdaws everywhere. I heard gold crest. I couldn't see them. And yeah, in the main reserve, it's obviously the water's much lower, and that's why there are a few more birds. I'm just better check what that small bird is over there. I mean, there's a couple of swans here, but obviously it's too deep for any of the normal waders. If something's floating over there, I should check it. I think I've just seen it duck dive, so it might be a little grebe. I think we're all caught up, so my wife's probably wondering what we're doing over there parked in the cab. It's way too, I just saw a pheasant wander out on the road there. But this is great. I think I've covered everything now. Brilliant. I think we might even pop back here at some point, but I've just messaged the council, whatever it is, about you need a fob to get into the observatory, and I think it's like £25. So I don't think I would have done much better in there than just looking out from the road. So I don't think I'm going to bother with that. If I knew I was coming down, once a month or something, I'd do it. So anyway, good afternoon. Now, I've just finished my round at Blashford Lakes, and there's a lot of birds jumping around me, robins. I think they're going to feed, so I've set my camera up to do my catch-up, and we're going to see if we're going to get some action while I talk to you. Okay, let's try I'll put a little bit there, and then we'll get on with it. So, anything, Brent Goose, no feature. So there's one up there. Yeah, we've got chaffinch and blue tit all around me. We're going to see if, so I'll talk and see what happens. So yeah, I missed a couple of things yesterday. So at the harbour, big flock of Brent geese went by, and I was told that was only a small portion. Yep, a couple of robins coming, so I think we're in good luck here. So yeah, told there was probably thousands of them, so about 3,000-4,000. And then got back to the apartment, and they're really jumping around me, but not coming down to my hand. We'll just stand here and wait. I've got chaffinch, blue tit, great tit, and robins. So got back to the apartment, and I could hear greenfinch, lots of greenfinch. I used the 4K crop mode. Now I'm going to apologise in advance because everything's been so far away, and I've been on the go. I've just been filming. Nothing's been really photo worthy. So apologies if I'm not taking photos for you guys. I've taken a few, like there's a chaffinch coming up and things like that, but I apologise, it's mostly film for the most part. So the greenfinch, yeah, there's the flock of them flying around the area we're in. Barton-on-Sea it's called. We got like a studio apartment, really nice, bit more expensive than some other places, but I went on the reviews and the location by the sea. I haven't explored the sea yet because it's down in front of a cliff, which I haven't got down there. It's a bit windy and cold. But the greenfinch, there's a flock of about 10 of them floating around, and I managed to get some in the gardens on the 4K crop mode. So it's a bit shaky, I apologise, a lot of my footage is shaky. So, came out this morning heading up to Blashford Lakes. I've never been here before, I never planned it. I just opened the map and goes, where haven't we been in the New Forest? And Blashford Lakes looks like, you know, lakes, water, so there's going to be something there. So drove on the way up there, we went down a country lane, and a buzzard, I spotted it a mile away. If I wasn't a birder, I'd have never seen it. I'd have just thought it was a crow or something. But I knew immediately by the shape and the way it was sitting. And it was even in the silhouetted, it was a, yeah, come on then. I've just dropped a bit of nut and the robin's gone down there. Come on guys, land on my hand, don't make me look like an idiot. So we've got this buzzard, then it's, yeah, there you go, look what it's doing. Fired out in the middle of shooting. So drove into the lakes on the road parts, which are well tarmac and single lane. You can see the lakes on either side, they're kind of covered by these mounds. You can't get a good view over to see what's going on in them. So it's just these, through the woods and the bushes, and then there was a turn in for a boat club. So I drove in just to the car park, just to have a look what was on the boating lake. And it was all your usual Canada geese, tufties, cormorants. Yeah, lots of Canada geese flying over the lake and nesting on these islands. Apart from that, I didn't see anything else. I thought, okay, so this is going to be mostly fishermen fishing lakes and boating lakes. So yeah, well, at least we've done it and we've had a drive, because it was sprinkling with rain. It was a drizzle of rain every now and again. So we're at least protected from that. There's a robin 2 feet from my... Come up here, can you look? I've got food. Come up. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to hold my hand out. My arm's going dead. Sear. Rook's Neck. Yeah, so we stopped at this. I just stopped at this random house on the edge of the forest by the end of one of the roads on the lakes, because I saw lots of action. And I got out and there were chaffinch all over the ground and blackbird. Male chaffinch for a change. It's usually the females. And while I was standing there filming, looking a bit self-conscious, a guy did come out and said... And I just said to him quickly, I said, is it all right me taking photos of the birds and video? He went, oh, if that's all it is, because it does look a bit suspicious, but apparently he turned out to be kind of an animal hospital, animal rescue centre. So he gave me all these signals. I got one to eat out of my hand back there. This is where I've set myself up, and they're not doing it. Usually for robin or a great tit specifically lands a couple of feet from you, it wants to feed. It's you can hear the cold tip. Anyway, where were we? So these chaffinch, and then I heard a calling in the tree. Sounded like, I thought it was a raven. And as I zoomed in, it turned out to be rooks all nesting in the tree. So I thought it was all crows, jackdaws and ravens here. But they were rooks, unusually. And the farmer knows it very well. Farmer, the guy running the... Sorry, I'm a bit distracted here by all the birds, but they're not coming to feed. So we went into the... Yeah, we just saw the nature reserve. It said the Blashford Lakes Nature Reserve. And oh, I looked on it and it's a proper nature reserve. And when you go in, it said membership details, come inside. I thought, okay, we're going to have to pay 5, 7, 8 quid. Spoke to a lady there, totally free. So fine, okay, that's great. She just said, yeah, and she pointed me in the direction to walk for the hides. And she said, if you just want to, the feeders weren't full, because she said there's an outbreak of bird flu. So no, I'm saying a lot because I'm distracted, right? Concentrate, no ers, no ums. Let's get on with it. So she showed us the route to these hides, and lots of chaffinch. Got this great male, so here's a photo for you. Got this great male chaffinch, well exposed because the sun had gone behind the cloud. And then we made our way into this hide with a bittern on the front. And turned out to be a really good hide. The robin landed right on the camera. You won't land on my hand. I need a rear facing camera as well. So we went into this hide, and immediately there was a grey heron flying around, which my wife loves them. I've seen millions of them. But it was flying around, and as we put the window up, it flew off. But immediately a kingfisher landed. I dropped my bag, dropped all my stuff, grabbed my tripod, and I filmed it handheld for a second. I said, "Dad, can you see it?" And it was floating in the reeds, bouncing around in the reeds. And I got a bit of handheld footage. I thought, right, okay, this is it, 4K crop. Let's film this. And you know what's weird? This has happened before. When I've filmed with a tripod in a hide, there's a huge amount of movement, weirdly. I think maybe the wind blows the whole hide, and because it's made of wood, it causes a very slight amount. And at 4K crop, at 800mm, you're going to spot it. So I'm going to have to go through this footage and try and find a few seconds here, a few seconds there. And then in the distance, there's lots of widgeon going around. I scanned the horizon, the birds, to see the species, to see what species we were dealing with. And there were widgeon, tufted ducks. There were just coots peppered around the place. What else have we got? I'm using my second phone for details, so my brain can't keep up with all this information. Every time I see 3 to 4 birds, that's when I make a note of it, so I remember to talk about it. So this was the Ivy North hide, specifically. This was the hide we were in at this point. And there were teal, lots of teal, plenty of teal, like down at Crossness. Male and female teal. There were even teal having a battle. My wife said, "What's going on?" There was lots of splashing. And I said, "They're probably fighting for the female's affections," which she laughed at. What's wrong with that? So, and went over to the, well, on the way to the woodland hide. So we came out that hide, and I saw something move, thrush-sized, on the ground. Turned out to be a redwing. I had to manually focus through the trees, but even with that, I got quite a clear shot of it, and not too jumpy with my image stabilizer fighting me. It held still for several seconds for me. And then as I walked down and saw a group of people, they were looking at something, and it turned out to be a goldcrest. I only managed to get a brief record video of it to prove it was the goldcrest. Well, look, I tried to feed you. You're going to come up to my hand now. Look. For the camera, please. Make me look good. Okay, I'll feed you on the ground. Take that. You embarrass me. He's right there, like 3-4 feet away. Yeah, goldcrest and redwing. And what else we got? Then we went into the woodland hide, which is one of those annoying hides where none of the windows open except the ones near the back. So they've got the feeders out the front, which, like I said, they didn't fill because of bird flu. But even if they did fill it, you would have to just sat behind glass. Very annoying. So had a brief look in there and just left immediately. Made our way down to the south, the Ivy South hide. And I could already hear on the Ivy Stilt Pond, is that right? Did I write that down? Yeah, the Ivy Stilt Pond on the right, lots of kingfishers calling, and I saw them flying backlit by the sun, and I heard them calling for ages as we made our way down to the south Ivy hide. So straight away, a slightly different hide with the birds being a bit closer. On the left, there was a tree full of cormorants all drying up and sunning themselves. And yeah, immediately below those, on the base, when I was doing my scan, I could see swans and things like that, and checking for different species. Here we go, pintails, northern pintails, 2 pairs moving around. So nothing's close enough to photograph. So again, this is 4K crop mode to get these. I was getting a few seconds here and there before my image stabilizer, what I've spoken about in previous videos, from the R7 to the R200, the RF 200 to 800, they don't perform well together if you handheld and balance yourself. It has to be fully tripod or fully handheld to get your smooth footage, if you can call it that, when you're handheld. And there's a robin right underneath the camera, but it won't feed out of my hand. Closer widgeon as well. The widgeon were coming closer, and while I was filming one of the pintails having a little shake around, trying to shake off the parasites, if that's what they're doing, went past the widgeon, and yeah, there was a pair of widgeon there closer in, and then more close stuff. Tufties were coming in closer for some better footage. I got a brief glimpse of a kingfisher fly past the hide. We all saw it, but I couldn't film it. It was too fast. Tufties were doing their thing in front of the hide, and then I was like, is that another? And I was like, wait a minute, something's different with the back of it. And sure enough, it was a common pochard. I'd seen them coming in from the previous hide, but this was like full frame, still with the 4K crop. So we're getting our species here. There were gulls, lots of black-coated gulls and other gulls, but the bigger gulls would have been maybe herring or lesser blackback, are all in sort of juvenile plumages, which I've known nothing about, and I've given up even trying with those. You know, you have to get your gull experts for stuff like that. I'm not even going to attempt it and show you any footage. So I think we got our fill there. There was nothing much else. Yeah, I don't think, just the teal, widgeon, pochard. Yeah. And then we came out and we saw this owl sculpture, and there was a robin that was quite tame in the back, and I put my hand out with some food, and it didn't come over, but it sat there, and I went, what are the chances I put some on the head of this owl and get a photo? So I had to step right back to fill in the frame, and I put it on, and I saw it sort of start making its way closer. I was like, yes! So I quickly took several steps back, because with the 800mm, I have to be miles away, and I got it. Photographs, here we go. So there's some photographs of it landing on the top of the owl's head, this wooden owl, which I thought was a real owl. When you first glance at it, it captures you, you know, double take. So there was and then I never filmed it, but a robin came and fed out my hands. So once we finished with the owl and the robin, we're coming along this path there on the western side, and I saw a white fluffy thing in the trees in the middle here, and checked it out through the camera. Sure enough, it was some sort of deer. And I thought, muntjac, I'm not very good with deer, so I've got to be the expert on these things. I'm here to provide you information. So I looked it up, and the identifying features are the white fluffy bum, the black tipped ears, and the black nose, and the little sort of fingery thing at the back of the fluffy bit at the back. I nearly said another word, but finger's good. So, and it turns out to be a roe deer. There you go. There's 6 species of deer, UK, and that's a roe deer. So it's good. I'm learning something. I'm even teaching myself things. There's no excuse for this nowadays. In the palm of your hand, you've got all of mankind's knowledge. You should have no excuse with AI and Google Lens. So, and I think that's, yeah, so roe deer, I think that's us caught up. Yeah. So today the plan is fish and chips. And probably what we tend to do when we're by the sea is buy it, take it to the water and go and sit somewhere. So the first things first is I've got to do some Googling to find the best one with the best reviews. That's always the way to go. You don't just show up to some random fish and chip shop and assume because it's by the sea it's good. Do your reviews first. Look up reviews. They're there to help you. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, sorry, I'm waffling a bit. I'm really sorry about all the distraction. But to do these vlogs, I've got to be looking around me and, you know, stop. And I'm also panicking because I've got to get back to my car before the place closes at 4:30 and it's now 5 past. Okay, so I think I've caught up with everything. You guys have been a letdown. None of you have eaten out of my hands. Okay, so okay, we'll catch up. See you tomorrow.